So why is the great toe called the great toe? Why is it so important? Well, it has a massive role in walking. So it takes a lot of pressure when we're in the stance phase, when you're just standing. But crucially, as we move from stance into walking, in the pre-phase, we hyperextend the great toe, and that allows us to push off with the ankle and the foot with contraction of the plantar fascia and the Achilles tendon working as a windlass mechanism. Basically, that means that the movement of the toe increases the strength with which your foot can move you forwards. Now, in addition, the great toe actually allows forces and your weight to move through the foot. If we've got a break to the great toe, it's going to be painful to walk. If that break is not adequately fixed or heals properly, that's going to have a chronic impairment to the foot, and that's potentially going to change how a person walks. Because if that windlass mechanism is affected, you're literally going to result in a reduction in the power in that leg when you're walking, when you're running, or trying to jump. So the other lesser toes, literally the smaller toes of the foot, we worry much less so about a break. The great toe, this needs to be looked at very carefully and crucially. I'd like to introduce you to my big toe, specifically this bit, and you'll see it's distinctly larger than the other one. That is a problem. Now, lots of people will frequently fracture their toes, and what we'll often do is neighbour strap them. So literally use tape to attach one toe to the other. That works as a splint and allows it to heal without any significant issues. However, the great toe, clue is in the name, is very important with regard to the foot and the architecture that is involved in the mechanics of walking. If you've got a break to the great toe, it's very important that we establish what's gone on, and particularly if it's across the bone or whether it is at the joint, and then make sure it's cared for adequately. You can see that as you walk, you're applying a lot of pressure and crucially power through the great toe as part of the stance phase, and also the ability to push off the floor. So if you have a problem with your great toe, it's going to have an impact on your gait, certainly whilst it's healing.